Hey, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Courtside Soundoff podcast. Once again, I'm Josh Evanoff, welcomed always by the one and only Angel Ortega. A lot of stuff to talk about this week. Obviously, we got some Bellator to recap. We got some Eagle FC to recap. Just give our quick thoughts about that. UFC Vegas 46 going down this weekend from the UFC Apex in Las Vegas, Nevada. As well as a couple of fight announcements, just some other stuff going on in the combat sports world. As always, we are brought to you by Rogue Energy. RogueEnergy.com. If you want 10% off your order, use code SOUNDOFF at checkout. This code SOUNDOFF at checkout for 10% off of all the energy needs. I'm the sponsor of the show, as always. We'll have some sponsor news next week, one I'm actually really excited for. But for now, just be sure to use code SOUNDOFF at checkout at RogueEnergy.com. Saturday night. Yeah, right, Saturday. From the Footprint Center in Phoenix, Arizona, Ryan Bader's homecoming in his home city against Valentin Moldavsky, the young protege of the one Fedor Emelianenko. Honestly, dude, he turned back the clock. Bellator 273 was a night for the old men, at least in the main and he's facing this young prodigy out of Russia, actually Ukraine, never mind. Don't want to make that mistake right now.
Whoa, Josh.
Don't want to make that mistake right now. But regardless, Ryan Bader wins via unanimous decision. A grappling heavy fight. Bader actually nearly knocked him out in the first round, which was, I thought I was having flashbacks to the Fedor fight. Valentin Moldavsky survives, puts on a good performance. In the end, he comes up just short. I saw some people agreed with the scorecard, some people disagreed. Angel, what were your thoughts on Ryan Bader unifying the Bellator heavyweight title and getting the dub on Saturday?
Congrats to him, right? Obviously awesome for an older fighter to find success at this point in his career. And obviously him seeing that the weight change is a good thing for him, right? And at the same time, it didn't come with controversy, Josh. I heard around, I saw the first 3 rounds, and like I said, at that point, it was, in my opinion, 2-1 Moldavsky, and I ended up missing the championship rounds because I had to go to work. Let me clarify. So it was justified, so don't give me no hate.
Was this not your job, bro? What the fuck, man?
But believe it or not, it's not, Josh, I don't sit on my ass and watch fights all day. As much as I wish I could do that, I can't. But
lame.
I know, right? But yeah, no. Like I said, it didn't come without controversy. But man, I mean, it's not like Bader wasn't doing good things or wasn't doing good things in the fight that could have led him to win. Like I talked to you in the pre-show, we were talking in the green room. You said you didn't have any issues with it. So I mean, I'll believe you. I know we've had some disagreements in recent time with some fights, but I mean, big win for Bader. But we're coming out of this with some disappointment, Josh. Because right then and there, they announced Czech Congo versus fucking Ryan Bader in France. Yeah. Let's just get right into it, Josh. I'm not even going to skip a beat. 4 months from now, Ryan Bader will defend his title against Czech Congo in Paris.
And let me go ahead and preface by what I'm about to say by saying that I like a lot of Congo's fights, especially the Bellator run has been, in my opinion, one of the most underrated, most overlooked stories in MMA. We're talking about a guy that's he's older than Fedor. He's old. He is 46 years old. He will be 47 by the time this fight takes place. However, with that being said, he has won something like 10 of his last 12 fights. He only has, and even then, one of those was like a no contest. And during that stretch, he's knocked out Tim Johnson. He's beaten Vitaly Minakov. He's beaten Karatanov. He's beaten Volkov. He's beaten so many. Augusto Sakai, he beat him as well. He's on such an underrated run. However, last time they fought each other, Congo was getting his ass kicked so hard that he went ahead and faked an eye poke to get out of the fight. And he's gone 1-1 since then. I said it on Twitter. I don't think Scott Coker could book David versus Goliath properly. You have a fight that is perfect. Like both Bader and Fedor have said they will fight. Fedor wants it. You have an opportunity to have an amazing send-off that the entire world will be watching. Because let's be honest here, a lot of time people don't watch Bellator. They just don't care. But you sit a fight. Fedor, the greatest of all time, in my opinion, one of the greatest of all time. You put him in his home country against the man that he lost to. He has a chance to not only avenge himself, but avenge his protege who just lost to him. They both said they won it. Fedor is sitting cage side. He's there. And then they bring in Congo. And we saw Congo get mauled by him. Like in late 2019, early 2020, he got mauled by him. I understand it's a no contest because he faked an eye poke, but I don't know. I mean, what are your thoughts? I mean, or maybe you're more approving of it than I am. I mean, what are your thoughts?
I mean, dude, Chet Congo last time out impressed me, but if I remember right, he had trouble in that fight too, didn't he? Until he was able to hurt his opponent. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a banger. They both got hurt.
Yeah, it was a banger. They were both hurt. It was one of those. But I do remember he had some trouble and he ended up getting the submission. And he got tired. I remember he got tired, didn't he? Or someone got tired in that fight.
They both got super tired.
Yeah, they both got super tired. And Bader didn't look tired in this fight either. He went the distance too. So, not a good look for him. But it's not like, I'll put it like this, Josh. The one thing that justifies it, it's not like Congo isn't deserving of this fight. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, like you can't say that he's not fully deserving of it with what he's done at his advanced age, whether there's some sauce there or not. You know, we're not going to get
I'm
into
sure
that.
he's on the sauce, but who really cares?
But
they all are. It's Bellator.
But regardless, man, you know it's gonna be a good fight. It's in France, scary for Bader, right? A lot of pressure there, but a lot of pressure for Congo too. And man, if Vader is to lose, man, I mean, they're probably going to rebook him and make a trilogy, and like the Vader fight just fades away, I think, dude, because Vader's going to be too old.
The fight's going to fade away anyway, because I think Vader said that he's going to fight in June.
Oh shit! Who do you think he would fight then?
I mean, maybe. I mean, what JDS is booked, Overeem's booked. They both said that. I mean, Roy Nelson said he might fight him, but that's about.
Oh, I heard that. That'd be a banger though.
We also got to remember, dude. Roy's lost like his last 6 fights. That's not that fun to me, at least in my opinion.
But Fedor is like 40 something, you know.
Roy's pretty old too. I think Roy's like 43. I mean, it makes sense, but I don't know. I'd be kind of.
Who would you like to see out of the old guys? It's not like we can get like
old guys, dude. I'd be down for a Mark Hunt rematch. I'd be down for.
And it's not like Verdum is like in his best days either.
Verdum, I'd be fine. I mean, maybe even Bigfoot Silva. Honestly, let him avenge that one.
Verdum, actually, I threw Verdum out there, not thinking too hard about that.
That would require a co-promotion with PFL though.
And that wouldn't happen. Or maybe
I don't know. There's slim pickings, if we're being honest, in terms of who he could fight, which is why the Bader fight made a lot of sense.
No, you're right. And who else do they have on their heavyweight? Jack Swagger, Josh, a.k.a. Jake Hager.
I don't want to say that it won't happen just because I don't want to live in. I don't think he'd win, but I don't want to live in a universe where it's even possible for Jack Swagger to hold a win over Fedor.
Josh, we live in a world where Jake Paul has a win over Tyron Woodley.
That one's okay, but that one's like bad, like out of context, you know. Like if you told somebody 5 years ago that'd be crazy. Jake Hager, even now, him getting a win is still bad because he's not. I like him a lot as like a guy. I like him a lot as a human being. Funny dude, cool guy. He's not a very good MMA fighter.
Not at this point, he also hasn't fought a lot. So there's a lot of reasons why.
Yeah. But he's also very old too. He's like
no love for my boy Jack Swagger, Josh.
I'm surprised they haven't pushed him harder. I understand because he's in AEW that like they don't. I guess maybe he doesn't want to. But like,
yeah.
His last fight was a banger too. I think he fought a guy who was like a former Pittsburgh Steelers player who was like 3-0, Brandon Carlson. That was a hell of a fight in 2020. So I'm surprised he hasn't done more. Honestly, I think he's actually ranked. I think he's ranked number 10 or something in the Bellator heavyweight division.
That's dope.
But he got removed. But yeah, I guess that one might make sense, but. I don't know, man. I think the Bader fight made all the sense in the world, but they went away from it. But so we're not going to see that old man get a title shot. However, Angel, there may be another old man who's going to get a title shot.
I know.
Benson Henderson in the co-main event. Let's just go and remind people. Benson Henderson, 38 years old, has lost 3 fights in a row. And if we're being honest, not too many of them were very close either. Taking on a 20-1 monster from Russia, Islam Mamedov. Pulls off the upset. Split decision win, Benson Henderson. In one of the biggest upsets of the year. And apparently, Scott Coker told him beforehand, he's like, what do I got to do to get a title shot? Scott Coker told him, beat Mamedov. And he did. What do you think about Benson Henderson moving forward in Bellator?
It's not going to last very long with the way he's talking, I'll tell you what. It doesn't seem like he plans on being here very long. And apparently he talked a bit to Habib, right? Like there were some talks there.
Yeah, he said he was just joking with Habib. He clarified on the MMA Hour that if he's looking to re-sign with Bellator and then potentially retire after he wins the lightweight title.
I don't know. We'll see what he does. I mean, Shit, PFL just. Oh, that's some other news, Josh. Jeremy Stevens. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a bit.
But
Yeah.
I mean, he's fought the guy before. There's some history there. It was a split decision last time out, Josh. Can he get it done this time?
If he fights like how he does against Mamedov, it's possible. I watched that fight whenever he was first coming in, dude. Because Benton, people forget, he had so much hype coming into Bellator. Like, he was the dude. Like, he was one of their first super big free agent signings. Like, he was coming. Henderson was not far off from a title shot, and he just beat Jorge Masvidal actually, and he beat Brandon Thatcher, who at the time was super hyped up. He was only like a year or two removed from being the champ, and then he gets fucked up by Andrei Korshkov in a brutal beating. He beats Patricio via a leg injury, but nothing happened. He loses to Michael Chandler in one of the greatest fights I've ever seen. That Pitbull fight, the one against Patrici, I don't remember anything about it. So I probably should have rewatched that one. But yeah, man, I don't honestly remember anything about that fight. From what I remember, though, it was a really inactive fight. Like, neither guy did a whole lot. That's why it was a split decision. My biggest complaint with Hendo has always been that he's not active, especially – sometimes he does it, and sometimes he'll actually go and put in the effort, but a lot of the time it just feels he doesn't really do much. If he puts in more activity, I think he could beat Patrici. But we'll have to see if Patrici even has the belt, because Sidney Outlaw, he may be coming for that strap, man. But, yeah, man, one last thing. Did you actually think he won the fight against Mamedov? I know some people thought that he actually got a bit of a gifted decision there.
There was some controversy. I got to give credit to Benson, though, because he did fight out with those submissions. He was really active. I'm not gonna get up in arms about it. Good for him. It is what it is. Like I told you, I didn't have any issue with these. It's a lot of the stuff that I heard. I ended up, like I said, missing some of these fights because I had to go to work. But it's kind of sad because I got to see pretty much everything before it. But that's just how it goes, man.
Fair enough. As far as the undercard goes, what are some of the other fights you want to go ahead and touch on?
Oh man, we got to give credit to Josh. It's not Michelle Pereira. It's not Michael Chandler. It's Sebastian Hamasi. It's an exciting man in MMA. No. I mean, I'm not joking around. He's an exciting fighter. But he came back, man, with a big win over Jaleel Willis. That's a good W in Bellator, man, for him. And he had a lot of support from his team that night. He got it done, dude. That was a good way to rally back. I'm really happy for him.
Me too, man. And look, I've always thought that Sabah Hamasi got a bit of a rough go in the UFC. I mean, he faced Tim Means on super short notice, but that was a banger of a fight. Like, that was such an entertaining fight. People don't really remember because it happened on the undercard of Conor versus Nate too. So I understand why everybody was like a bit in awe, but that was a really fun fight. And then he had, the two fights with Abdul Hazak Al Hassan, and that dude's in his prime was one of the hardest hitters I've ever seen. So him losing, that's not really a big deal. So I honestly thought he got a bit of a rough go in the UFC. But, dude, Bellator, he's put together a nice run for himself. Is he ranked? I believe he is. Probably. If not, he should be. But, yeah, dude, he's very fun guy. He's put on some amazing fights in Bellator. I could not be happier for him, personally. But, yeah, dude, that was your highlighted fight. I got to go ahead and highlight one that it's just sad to me. Darion Caldwell, dude. I never would have expected him all those years ago, like 2015, 2016, him going on a hell of a run, becoming the champ, and just I never thought it would come. Like, he just melted down. Ever since that Horiguchi loss, those losses rather, it's just been horrifying for him. This is his third straight loss. What would this be? Like 5 of his last 7 have been losses. And this one was just bad, dude. He just gassed out. He's beating Enrique Barzola. And then he gassed out, got ground and pound finish, and it was just a shame, dude. In terms of wasted potential. I guess it's not hard to call him. I guess that's a bit harsh.
Hey, Enrique ain't bad though. He's a good fighter.
Yeah, he's a good fighter. I think it's probably a bit harsh to call him wasted potential because he was a Bellator champion, but I don't know, man. He had such a fast decline. He really did.
No, you're not wrong. it was lackluster from him, and hey, man, hopefully he can rally back. Put some wins together, get back on track, maybe get another title shot one day.
True. We'll have to go ahead and see. But, dude, as far as the rest of the card goes, I thought it was all right. I mean, Chris Gonzalez, I think that kid's still a great prospect.
He got pushed hard, though. He got pushed hard in his last fight.
That's true. And Goichi's a hell of a guy, dude. Very good. But him knocking out Said Awa in the way that he did, that's a good-ass sign, dude. Said's a bad, bad man. A bit past his prime, sure, but he's never been beaten as easily, like, as we saw. So, yeah, man, we'll have to go ahead and keep an eye on Chris Gonzalez moving forward. Overall, a really, really fun Bellator card. I think that a lot of time Bellator has these big cards where they kind of, disappoint. I mean, there's no other way to say it. This one, bangers all the way through. Even the opening fight, sadly, Ben Parrish lost.
Yo, I told you though about Sullivan Collie, bro. I told you he had some wrestling and from college wrestling background, and he trains with Bader, and he was going to be a menace.
That's true. But regardless, a bit disappointing, but still, that was still a fun fight, and up and down the card, a lot of fun fights, dude. So can't even complain. But it was not the only MMA event that went down. Obviously, I feel like Bellator kind of flew under the radar partially because it was Eagle FC's U.S. debut. Obviously, this one's been hyped up for a while, and overall, I thought it delivered. In terms of the main event, Sergey Kharitonov defeating Tyrone Spong. Rashad Evans got a nice win in the co-main. Ray Borg got a win. But I don't think this is really much to talk about in terms of fights, because I don't think any one of these are really that important in the grand scheme of things. But what is your overall impression? Eagle FC, their first UFC show, they debuted a lot of stuff. They had a lot of special guest analysts there. What are your thoughts on them as a promotion after one show in?
I mean, it's fun, man. It has potential. My whole thing is, I feel like they should really aim to be like a KSW type promotion, man. Like really local with some other guys from other countries, but really stick to your young talent, and they can blow up because they have Habib as the guy. You know what I mean? Because KSW is massive, man. You've seen those arenas; they get filled up, and that's Poland, dude. You don't think as Poland is this massive country, and it's no disrespect to Poland. Much love to all my Polish people out there. No, I'm saying,
No, I know.
I know. Shout out Papa Biceps. If you know, you know. That's all I'm gonna say. He's fighting this weekend. But no, if you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
But yeah, but you know what I mean. You don't think about these countries and these promotions like KSW as like these massive things, man. It's not like even like a ONE FC. I feel like a ONE FC is even bigger. You know what I mean? At least in my eyes, to an extent. I think they could be really big in their region and be massive and blow up and do a lot for young talent and develop guys and make them champions in their area, and also bring guys from outside who can be big names from maybe some other promotions, some older guys, some legends, and have fun fights. And they don't need to do shows in the States all the time. They just need to. I think they need to stick to their guns, stay local, be massive out there, because they're gonna get a lot of love, man, and they could fill up some massive arenas.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in that country, man, where people love fighting and they love combat, and you see those crazy press conferences out there in Europe, man, like, and with all the talent in Europe and all the ability and the fact that Habib's going to treat all their champions with respect and pay them all well and give them the best opportunity to reach a high level. I think they have a high ceiling if they desire to reach it, and it's going to be hard, man. It's hard to run a promotion. I think it's just dependent, and like I said, I feel like they're doing a lot of things right, but they really need to figure out what their identity is going to be. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. It's honestly, I think that they are in an interesting position now, where they have a good mix of veterans and plus those young prospects out of Russia. It's interesting. It's very interesting what's going to go ahead and happen moving forward with them. Overall, I thought first show in, very fun. I thought it was very, really good. You had like Chael Sonnen doing some analyst stuff. You had Henry Cejudo there. You had Kamaru Usman there. It was very professional for, what's standardly. I kind of expect a bit of a regional-based kind of feeling show. I wouldn't say it's as high production quality as like a Bellator or something, but it's somewhere in the mix there, man. It was very, very, it was a good show overall. I had a lot of fun watching it. But, yeah, man, we'll keep an eye on them moving forward. Obviously, they have a show coming up in March, which could be Kevin Lee versus Diego Sanchez at 165.
Oh God!
Which we talked about, but we'll talk about that more.
When is that again? Can you repeat that one more time for us?
I believe it's going to be March 11th, but I don't know for sure.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure I heard you right there.
Yeah, so we'll have to go ahead and keep an eye on that. We'll talk about that when that's actually coming up. But Angel, there is some UFC this weekend, and your boy Sean Strickland is back. UFC Apex, February 5th. My boy,
whoa, Josh.
UFC Vegas 46, headlined by a middleweight contender bout, 1 week away from the middleweight title bout. Jack Hermansson, Sean Strickland squaring off. Winner of this could be getting a title fight next. Very good fight, man. Both these guys ranked in the top 10. Jack Hermansson, he is 2-2 in his last 4, but you got to look deeper in that, man. He lost to Cannonier, lost a tough fight to Vettori, which is a great fight. Scored wins for Shabazz and Gaslam. Sean Strickland, on the other hand, on a great winning streak, 5 wins in a row, 4 of those being at middleweight. During that stretch, he's beaten Uriah Hall, Christoph Jocko, Brennan Allen, Jack Marshman, and Nordine Taleb. A couple of nice names in that stretch. Never expected Sean Strickland to be in the title conversation, but now he is. He's on a great run. Do you think he gets to win on Saturday? Do you think he earns the title shot?
Hey, man. Look, first of all, Josh, I'm not even going to talk a lot about Sean Strickland fighting right now. I'm going to talk about everything Sean Strickland has done outside of fighting. Have you seen the MTV Cribs little video he made, Josh, of his apartment and how he's living in his living conditions? And
dude, I think it is terrifying that we let Sean Strickland have a gun.
Dude, multiple
guns.
He's like, this is the one I take if I'm going to a bad area. He's like, this is the one I take if I'm going to get mail and there might be a crackhead and I need to take him out. Like,
yeah,
dude.
Like it is. Jesus Christ, man. Like,
and then he's talking at a press conference about guys fight just for pussy. His words, not mine.
Yeah, that's exactly
women.
what he said. That's not our opinion.
Yeah, respect women. Okay. So, and what's her name? The gal who does all the
Amy Kaplan.
Amy Kaplan, thank you.
Yeah.
She was there. She was like, this was it was interesting me being here as the only woman and hearing all of this.
Yeah, she's great. It was really, really funny. Yeah, man, that was hilarious. Sean, man, I don't even know what to say about him, to be completely honest with you. He's
a scary guy, man. If that guy was champ, I think the UFC would be terrified.
Yeah, I think so. Actually, I take that back. I don't think they would be. The reason why I say that is because otherwise they probably would have just either cut him by now or they would have just given him like the treatment of putting him like on the early prelims. But this is his second straight main event. Like I think they're in the Sean Strickland business, bro.
Dude, they're on the whole thing like all what is it? All attention is good attention.
Yes. That's what they're on until Sean Strickland kills somebody.
Yeah, but something, Josh. I'll rally it back for us, man. As far as the fight, man, look, I think Sean Strickland's going to take this W, man. I think Jack Hermansson had a hard time taking him down. If you look back at all his fights, he doesn't get taken down a lot. Little to nothing. Even in that Kamaru Usman fight, 2 of 8 takedowns landed on Sean Strickland. Granted, that was at the old weight cut.
He did get massacred in that fight, though.
He did, but it's been a few years. We know what Kamaru's level is now. Sean is fighting at 185 now. Kind of changed a bit, and he has some good wrestling capabilities too now. He's kind of developed some stuff. I mean, you remember he took Uriah down quite a few times in that last fight. For Jack, I think for him, he's going to have trouble getting him down. He's going to have to do it against the cage, really work for it. Maybe try to get a trip or something. It's going to be too hard. I think on the stand-up, Sean's going to give a lot of pressure, make it really hard for Jack, not give him an easy time, constant pressure. And he's just going to give him a tough night, man. He's going to be a tough guy who's just going to be right in his face, constantly on him. Pressure, constant pressure. And it's just going to be too much for Jack Hermansson.
For sure. And I think I like Jack Hermansson a lot, but I've always thought he lacks that fully complete game to be like an actual title challenger. I mean, it's possible he could win this one. I mean, it's more than possible.
Oh, yeah, he can get a submission. I could see it.
And the thing about Jack Hermansson is he's so good that he really just needs to get a hold of you. But, dude, Josh Strickland has very underrated grappling. He's never been submitted once. And like you mentioned, like the Kamaru Usman fight, he got battered, but that was more just like him laying on him, pressuring him, so on and so forth. He didn't get taken down too many times. So yeah, man. I mean, he's a good dude. I mean, he honestly is. I never thought Sean Strickland would be a title challenger. I always saw him as like kind of like a meme guy. Like I never thought he'd be that great. But he's been on this great run, dude. He really has been, and I think you're right. I think he's gonna pull out the win here. I like Jack Hermansson a lot, but dude, like I said, he lacks that fully completed game. His wrestling's good. His wrestling's good, but it kind of lacks that full. He lacks kind of like the full repertoire to get the fight down to the mat. If he can, it's kind of GG. His grappling's very, very good, but he kind of lacks that full ability to get it down there. And his striking is pretty average. I mean, it's not anything to write home about. He's not really great at pressuring guys. He doesn't really have full knockout power either. So yeah, man, it's possible he can get the win. But we'll have to go ahead and see, dude. We'll have to see. And Sean Strickland, even if Jack Hermansson lands a couple good shots on him, Sean Strickland has a fucking chin, dude. I mean, he has been knocked out once, and it was like some freak it was a spinning wheel kick that put him out in Brazil. And Uriah Hall tagged him a couple of times, and Uriah's got a lot of power, dude. And didn't even phase him. So yeah, man, I'm gonna take Sean Strickland in the main event. Never thought I'd be saying that, and I think he gets a title shot next. I think we're gonna be looking at Sean Strickland versus Israel Adesanya or Robert Whittaker. Don't want to give my pick away. But we might be looking into him fighting for the title later this year, which is just surreal. Co-main events, let's just be honest. I want to say it's a bit of a weak one, but I understand their thought process here. Soriano, taking on Nick Maximov. Both of these guys are somewhat interesting prospects in the UFC middleweight division. Obviously, Maximov is 7-0. Obviously, Nick Diaz Academy product, coming off a win at UFC 266, taking on Soriano, and he is 8-1 with his only loss in the UFC being to Brendan Allen. Before that, he scored a couple of nice wins, got 2 knockout wins in the UFC. Very interesting fight here. I like when they kind of put these kind of prospect fights together when, they're kind of early on in their road and they both have high promise. Who do you got in this kind of weird co-main event, but I think has the capacity to be very, very fun? Angel, you are muted.
I was talking too, by the way. I was going.
I knew you were, yeah.
But no. So I was gonna say, as far as the main event, dude, for a co-main event, it's weird. I really thought that Sam Alvey, Brendan Allen should have been the co-main event. Obviously, Brendan Allen is something on short notice, being at 205. A lot of change up there originally at 185. Sam was supposed to fight Phil Haas.
Yep, correct.
Oh no. So I guess it was 205 originally, right? Phil Haas plays at 205, right?
Yep. Actually, never mind. That would have been a 185.
Yeah, okay, so I was right. 185, yeah. So, there you go. I'm just thrown off by it, man. I really don't know if they deserve that co-main event spot. No disrespect to the guys. Doesn't mean they can't get there. I just felt maybe that those guys could be deserving. Even Brian Battle, Treyshawn Gore would have made a little bit more sense because of the fucking
the tough background.
The tough background, and obviously Brian being the tough winner, but this is kind of like the re-tough fight because they were supposed to fight for it anyways, so it's weird. Regardless, though, we are here. I think it's a banger, man. I mean, both guys got solid stand-up. Maxwell got some good ground game, stuff on the ground that he could do. I think if Cerrone gets his hands going early on, is able to really establish himself. He's one of those guys, man, he could be a loose cannon, but if he starts coming back and he starts getting pressured himself and starts getting taken down and having to work and not being able to let his hands go, I feel like it could be a rough night for him. I don't know what Nick's game is going to be. If it does end up being that, I think it'd be a bad night for Soriano. I think it's a pick'em fight, man. Both these guys are really young, very early on in their career. Similar records to an extent. Obviously, I don't know about exact, finishes and decisions and all that. But as far as the level of experience they have, age, one guy's has a few years on the other. But I mean, this is a fight game. Anything can happen. I go with Soriano, man. I'm high on him. I still think he has a high ceiling. But if you pick Nick here, Josh, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah,
I am actually going to pick Nick Maximov here. Look, I was actually going to be honest. I was not super impressed with his debut. It was an unanimous decision victory over Cody Brundage, who's not bad. But I feel like whenever Nick Maximov, given his hype, I feel like he probably should have gotten a more definitive victory. He's been hyped up for a long time out of the Nick and Nate Diaz camp. I mean, he's been trained by them for a long time. Very young kid, only 24. I'm going to pick him. I think he has a lot of high promise. I think the fact that he's still so young and is currently 6 fights in, he's only going to keep on getting better. I'm kind of counting on the fact that one fight was a bit of a one-off. Yeah, man, Soriano, he's interesting, but I do think, I don't know, he might be the more completed prospect, actually. As of this moment, he might be the more completed guy, but I think in long term, Maximov has more potential. I'm going to go and take him right now. Not like right now, I'm going to take Maximov.
Right fucking meow, Josh.
Right fucking meow. But yeah, dude, like I said, I would not be surprised if Soriano wins, just because we don't know a whole lot about either one of these guys. They're both going to keep on getting better. And right now, Soriano might be the better guy, but I'm going to go and take the chance on Maximov. I just think he has a lot of potential. So we'll go ahead and see. Obviously, he's still only 7-0, 24 years old. Even if he loses this one, not the end of him. Looking on down the card, what are some of the other fights that you want to go and highlight?
I mean, Josh, we just got to go one down, bro. I always got to shout out my boy Carlston Harris, but he's taking on a fucking demon at 170, dude. Shakvat Rachmanov, dude, Kazakhstanian fucking beast, dude, from Kazakhstan. 14-0, Josh. Every single fight's been a finish.
Yep. Yeah, he's a monster, dude. He's okay, look, there's a lot of good prospects in UFC right now, but Shavkat Rakhmonov might be the prospect. I understand everybody's high on Chimaev. I think he's only one down from Chimaev. He's that good.
He's that good, dude. And he's taking on my boy Carlston Harris, man. I'm nervous for my boy Carlston, but hey, man, if he gets this win here, big win for him. He's a hard to finish dude. He's only ever been finished one time in his career. That was back in 2018. I mean, he's capable of a lot, man. He has a good ground game. I think Shotgun's going to keep this one on the feet, though. I'm not going to make an official pick because we don't do official picks, but
yeah,
I'm excited for that one, man.
Yeah, same. It's going to be a hell of a fight, dude. Carlston Harris, very good guy. Very, very good. I think he's been outgunned in this one, but I would also not be surprised if he actually pulls off a win. He's been getting progressively better each time he shows up in the octagon.
He fought 3 times last year. Actually, 4 times, I think, including with
Didn't he beat Impa too, if I'm correct, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So he's only getting better, dude.
He got Impa cut. No, I was kidding.
Yeah, he's very good. Shavkat Rakhmonov, though, dude, he's a monster.
He's that guy, dude.
He beat Michel Perez. I still have no idea how to pronounce his name. Anyways, the little tank, the little tractor, I think, was just literally his nickname, Tractor. Yeah, he's a unit. He was on a lot of steroids, and he beat him, dominated him. He beat Alex Oliveira, and Oliveira, I understand. I think Oliveira's past his prime now. I understand he is only 33, but that's an old 33, my guy. He's been through some shit. And he just dominated him too. He was on a nice winning streak before that. So he's a monster as far as the prospect goes. Our boy Sam Alvey. This is a tough fight for him. Let's just be honest. This is his third opponent change, I believe.
It is at 205 though, so he doesn't have to cut weight anymore.
And Brendan Allen is taking this on extremely short notice, and he just got knocked out less than 2 months ago.
Yes.
So if there's going to be a rebound, it should be this one. But he's had a rough go. Obviously, it's kind of a meme at this point that Alvey has lost so many fights in a row, or he's winless. Now, granted, I thought he clearly beat Da'un Jung, so I thought that was robbed. I also thought he beat Wellington Thurman. He's had a couple of split decisions in that stretch. He's had a couple of rough losses.
Julian Marquez fight, fan, dude.
Yeah, he's had 3 of those losses, 3 via split. Actually, one of those was a draw, but 3 split decisions during his recent stretch. He had an absolute war against Julian Marquez. He's had a rough streak, man. Early stoppage against Jimmy Crute. I thought he just had a really rough stretch. So when people talk about dude, why the fuck is Sam Alvey still in the UFC? I mean, are there people that have been released that probably, Sam Alvey should have been before them? Yeah, probably. But I don't blame him for that. I don't understand people that have beef with Sam Alvey.
Also, he's really good for the promotion. He fights at multiple weight classes, and he's very available. So it's very convenient for them to keep him around.
Yeah, and he's everywhere. He'll do anything. And
he's a good guy.
He's a great guy, great human being. And also, I think part of the memes about him have kind of gone beyond reality. I think the fact that he's just had a lot of tough fights recently, dude. Yeah. But if you look back 2016, 2017, he was a legitimate top 15, top 10 guy. I don't think he's that anymore, but
that's what you think, Josh. But Jones just ran away at the right time.
Yeah, it was all to avoid Smiling Sam, bro. And jokes aside, love Sam Alvey. Former friend of the show, Sam Alvey.
Shout out, Sam.
I just want to go and point out something real quickly. Of guys that have showed up on the show, I don't think we've won a single fight since. I mean, granted, it's a very small sample size, but our boy Brian Maxwell has not won a fight since he showed up.
Dang, Josh, we cursed these guys.
Sam Alvey has not won a fight since he showed up. Anthony Taylor didn't even come on the show, but he was scheduled, and he has not won a fight since.
Whoa, Josh, you just announced that? No, I was kidding.
Huh?
I didn't know we were making that public. No, I was kidding.
No, I mean, we even had it.
It was public knowledge, yeah.
It was public knowledge. We even announced it, but just get scheduling stuff came up, but we're still on good terms. Love Anthony, good dude. Yeah, but even then, he was supposed to come on the show. He has not won a fight since. Mike Jackson has not fought since, but he's had multiple fights fall through. So we're just cursed.
But they rebooked that one though. They did
rebook that one for I want to say April, March maybe.
Fuck, we're hoping, dude.
He might win that one, man. I'm telling people the truth. Mike the Truth Jackson got some good boxing, man. He's taking on Dean Barry. Dean Barry's a good prospect. April 23rd, that fight's going down. So yeah, man, that's gonna be an interesting fight. But yeah, these guys do not win since they come on the show. So nobody please inform the fighters of the Courtside Soundoff curse. I think like their combined record is something like crazy. It's like 0-8-1 or something across like those 4 guys. So yeah, man, rough one. But regardless, yeah, I think this is gonna be an interesting fight. Brendan Allen, I think if there's a time for Sam Alvey to get a win, it's now. I think the Phil Hawes fight was a terrible matchup for him. But now you have Brendan Allen taking the fight on like 3 days notice, 4 days notice, and he's fighting up at 205. He just got knocked out less than 2 months ago. Like, now's the time. But also, dude, this you know what? This card's like sneaky deep. Not to like a lot of.
It is. I was looking into it.
Yeah, to a lot of normal fans, I think they're gonna overlook it. But like, for me, I don't want to say most anticipated fight, but one of my most anticipated fights on this entire card. And you brought it up earlier. Treyshawn Gore versus Brian Battle. Both guys from Tough. Both guys very promising prospects. Treyshawn Gore 27, Brian Battle 27 as well. You know, very interesting fight, man. What are your thoughts on that tough fight? Like, this is a real tough finals, in my opinion.
Dude, it is. It's a real tough finals. I mean, Treyshawn, he put out our boy Gilbert Rubina, dude, when they fought on the show. He got it done a lot quicker, if I remember right, than what Brian did. So if I'm Brian, I'm kind of like, shit, man. It took me a little bit to get him out. I got him out a little quicker the second time, but I had already beat him the first time, though. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, or actually, no, he didn't fight him. I'm thinking he didn't fight him a second time. My bad. I was thinking about Treyshawn's fight. But regardless, though, tough fight for both guys, right? I mean, there's a lot on the line here, even doing, you know, Brian already has the tough contract, and Treyshawn obviously is signed to the UFC now, I believe, right?
Yeah, they're both signed. Yeah.
So they're gonna keep fighting, man. But for me, Brian grew a lot in when they fought on the actual card. I mean, he physically looked significantly better than what he did on the Ultimate Fighter. Granted, though, they have to cut multiple times throughout the show and stuff like that. So you know, I'm guessing it's a lot harder to stay in that kind of shape with diet and everything. But now, man, I saw him. He looked a lot bigger, a lot fuller, a lot stronger. He has a lot of experience, man. I think people don't know this, but he had a pretty decently sized amateur background, and he's fought at a number of weight classes. Treyshawn is the less experienced guy, but he has some fucking power, man. When he hits you, it has a visible effect, and he's one of those guys who's hungry for it, man. And he was the guy that I think we both picked him to win. Like, he was our guy to pick to win. We both had Ricky and Treyshawn. I forgot what it was, but we had eyes on all the guys, like the main guys who we thought were gonna win. So, and Treyshawn's here, man. He was one of those guys we picked, and he has his chance here to get that tough win, but not that tough win because it's not part of the show anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, it's interesting. He's that guy that we kind of pinpointed like super early on in the show, like Treyshawn Gore. He's that guy. Brian Battle too, but to a lesser extent. I feel like I don't remember who we picked. I think, did you pick Brian, or I know that I picked Treyshawn, something along those lines.
I think I actually, now that you mention it, I picked Andre.
Oh, Andre, yeah, he's a bad man too. So
now he's gotten some wins since coming to the UFC, so he's doing fine.
Yeah, he's doing fine, but this is gonna be a hell of a fight, man. I know I picked Treyshawn. And it's going to be a very, very fun fight. Like I said, this is a deeper card than a lot of what people are kind of talking about, but probably because we're like one of the 6 people that actually watched the Tough season. Which, by the way,
it's just we care about the fighters, Josh. We care about combat.
We do. Speaking of Tough, dude, I got to get your quick opinions on this. And it was not like in the lineup, but the next Tough season, Amanda Nunes, Juliana Pena, they're going to be the coaches. Juliana Pena said that on the Joe Rogan Experience. I'm not sure if you saw that newest JRE.
I did.
Yeah, by the way, Juliana Pena, much more funny than I originally gave her credit for.
She said she wants to do stand-up. So
yeah, she's fucking hilarious, dude. I understand some people were like, dude, she's so dumb. But I like that part where she pulls out a calculator to figure out her age is the funniest shit. Like, I said,
it is.
I thought it was really funny. Anyways, so next tough season, looking like it's going to be Juliana Pena versus Amanda Nunes. What are your thoughts on that, man? I know some people really actually hate that kind of move, but
I think it'll be fun. I mean, I think they can make it interesting. I still thought Izzy Whitaker would have been a great season. I think they could have done like Australia versus New Zealand / New Zealand, Nigeria versus Australia. You know, however the fuck they wanted to do it, right?
yeah.
I think that would have been awesome. Or if I like I told you, Josh, I know it was too hard for Colby to stay in character for a whole season. Masvidal versus Colby. I mean, that would have been a fucking banger, dude. And you know that pay-per-view would have been even more insane. You know, they could have done all Miami fighters, you know, the whole season in Florida, you know, not even in Vegas. They could have done something like that, and they could have been fun. But I don't know. They decided not to go in those directions, and I mean, I felt like those were two great options. Shit, dude. Even Moreno Davison, they could have done that, and I think that could have been a fun season, especially with Moreno being a former tough, you know, competitor.
Mm-hmm.
Or just Moreno, I don't know however they want to do it, Pantoja, like whatever. Like they had options.
Yeah, man, I am legitimately excited for this newest tough season, though. I actually really liked like the latest one they did, and I know we talked about that whenever it happened. We'll talk about it more whenever, obviously this new one's gonna come up. But I believe Juliana said she's like looking to fight in like June, so I guess that would put the tough scheduling probably around like April, May, something along those lines. So we won't be seeing the new season for a while, but you know, I actually am very cool with that being the same coach. Juliana Pena, dude, she's not get the credit. She's a pretty good shit talker. I think she's very entertaining. And she's done more press than any fighter I've ever seen since winning the belt. Like, she's been on multiple talk shows. I think she's going on Ellen, like, this week. Like,
Holy shit.
Yeah, and she was on, like, another talk, Good Morning America, not that long ago. She went on JRE. She's gone to a bunch of sports stuff. She is everywhere, dude. Like, she's making the most for opportunity. And being on tough is another part of that. So, good for her. I think it's going to be a very fun, tough season. But, yeah, dude, this upcoming tough fight, Treyshawn Gore, Brian Battle, one of my most anticipated fights on the card overall. It's going to be a very, very fun one. Looking on down, are there a couple other fights? I know, like you mentioned, like it's a very deep card that a lot of people are kind of like not realizing. What are some of those other fights you're looking to talk about?
Bro, I got to give a shout out to my boy Raitan Almeida, man, from Brazil, dude. He was on the Contender Series, dude. He surprised me a lot. I think he has a high ceiling. He's my prospect to watch at light heavyweight who's not ranked right now, bro. If you want to watch some, I think he's going to bring a very entertaining fight against Danilo Marquez.
Oh, yeah, for sure. That's going to be a great fight. Man, that's honestly, I'm going to be honest, I've not really paid attention a lot to Almeida. But, you know, regardless, that should be a fun fight. Dude, here's a sad one for me personally. Alexis Davis coming back. I like Alexis Davis. She's 37. She's kind of, it's easy to forget, but she was one of the first real fighters to come into the women's bantamweight division. She's still around, still doing the damn thing. Taking on Julia Sidorenko. Angel, I'm not sure if you remember, she was the one that put an absolute banger on in Invicta.
I will never forget.
Yeah, bloodiest fight I've ever seen in person. I remember I went in, I like literally wasn't supposed to do it. I jumped up on the cage and took right before I left and took a quick photo of like the aftermath, and it was blood everywhere against her fighting Lisa Bersosa. If she loses, she will be, I don't remember the exact stat. I believe she'll be one of the few fighters in UFC history to go 0-4 in her 4 fights. Now, granted, one of those was on the tough finale, I guess I should say, against Leah Letson. She lost to Julia Avila, and she lost to Wardiana Kunitskaya. So there's a lot of quantifiers within that, but she will have the unfortunate dignitary of being 0-4 in the UFC, which is very rare for any fighter to get to that point. Yeah, man, that kind of sucks, but yeah, man, it's going to be a fun fight, her against Alexis Davis. We'll have to see on that one. And honestly, I don't think there's a whole lot of, I mean, obviously, big one, Hakeem Dawodu is back, taking on Michael Trizano. Dude, Michael Trizano,
he's forgotten, dude.
He's one of the most forgotten tough winners of all time. Like, I don't know who's worse than him. Like, he beat fucking Joe Giannetti, and Joe Giannetti is hated, by the way. He's one of, I don't know if he's even relevant enough to be hated, but like I saw so many people out of that tough season being like, God, this dude fucking sucks. Like, just like as a human being, everybody hated that guy. He's supposed to fight Paddy Pimblett in like on the regional scene. And, like, he missed weight horrifically. Everybody hates that kid. He beat Luis Pena.
Cage Warriors?
Yes, Joe Giannetti was.
Okay, that's what I asked.
So Michael Trizano beat him to win tough. He beat Luis Pena, and he lost to Grant Dawson. Took off 2 years. Actually, took off a year between the Luis Pena and Grant Dawson fight. Took off 2 years between his win against Levi Klein. and now he's going to fight Dawodu. So, weird career for him, honestly. Weird career arc. Hakeem Dawodu should probably win this one, but who knows? I'm not really sure how good Chisano is. And the last one I kind of want to highlight, Malcolm Gordon. 2 fights in, he looked like he might not be very good. Like, he was coming in with a decent bit of hype. He was a TKO flyweight champion up in Canada. He was a former WXC champion, also think in Canada. Very good guy on the regional scene for a long time there. Comes in the UFC, loses 2 straight fights, both via finish. But he beat Francisco Figueiredo, the brother of Davison, recently, and now he's back opening up the card against Denis Bondar. Very interesting fight there.
Dude, a Ukrainian stud on the ground, just so you know.
Yep. Very interesting fight card, man. And I guess the one I actually forgot to highlight, Chidi Onanjaki. I've been a fan of this guy for a long time. I think he's probably past his prime now. He's 33, but he's an old 33. He's been fighting at a high level for a long time. I don't remember if he fought for the Bellator title or if he was in title contention for a long time. He was like a Bellator guy up in like 2015, 2016. It was one of the top guys in that division. He got cut in 2020, went to LFA, fought his way in the Contender Series, fought a young prospect, Mario Souza, who I'm assuming was expected to steamroll him because he was like 12-1, 13-1 at that point. He beat him, got a contract. Now he's taking on Marc-Andre Barriol. I'm not sure how much Chidi has left in his career at this point in time, but I think he's going to go out on his shield, man. I think he's here for fun fights at this point in time. I'm excited for him, man. I'm really happy for him to finally get that opportunity. So, yeah, man, very, very fun. And I guess, like, kind of, since we're kind of closing out that card, the only thing we kind of do now is kind of just, talk about some recent fights that have been announced. We went over a couple of them already, Bader Congo, the Nunez rematch, stuff going on for Tough. But, we're going to hit a couple of quick fight announcements and then wrap up. Just recently announced, both for the same card actually, Holly Holm, Caitlin Vera will be main eventing a card in May. However, in the co-main event spot, in my opinion, arguably the more interesting fight, Alexander Gustafsson taking on Ben Rothwell. Dude, what are your both those fights happening on the same card? What are your early impressions of those fights?
I think those are both fun fights. Obviously, like, I don't want to get into the analysis right now because I don't want to, not have anything to talk about in the future or kind of already establish my thoughts. But, like I told you before, man, Gus a heavyweight, not a big fan, but something I think against Big Ben, I think it might be fun. I think the matchup is fun, but I don't know, man. It's still not a crazy heavyweight fan of Gus. I'm not sure why he decided to make this decision. I guess ever since he took a little bit of retirement and started building up a dad body, he's like, you just think, fuck it, I'm not cutting down to 205 ever again.
I guess. Well, let's remember, dude, he was supposed to fight Paul Craig last July down at 205. So, bit of a weird move, dude. Honestly, a bit of a weird move. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like him at heavyweight either. I understand like why he's doing it. He thinks he might have like a speed advantage, and I think that Verdum fight, like his first heavyweight fight, I think it's a bit of an aberration. I think that's just a terrible matchup for him. Like if you got submitted by Anthony Smith in your last fight, like I'm not exactly sure what you think you're gonna do, being outweighed by 20 pounds against a heavyweight who's arguably the greatest grappler of all time.
No disrespect to my boy Anthony Smith though. He's been putting in that work.
No disrespect. However, like if you're getting out grappled by like him at 205, what are you gonna do against like a fucking a heavyweight bigger than you and the greatest heavyweight grappler of all time, man? Like it's a bad matchup for him. So I hate the fact that he even had that fight to begin with. But regardless, Ben Rothwell, it's interesting. Fun fact: if Ben Rothwell wins this one, he will go 2-0 against UFC former light heavyweight title challengers. Can you remember the other one that he beat?
Oh my God! What the fuck? I feel like I know this.
It happened within the last 2 years.
Oh God! It was a title challenger.
Former UFC light heavyweight title challenger. Yes.
It had to have been someone. Oh, who the fuck could it be, dude?
We talked about this fight a lot in the moment. It was a fun fight.
It was a fun fight.
Nearly won it. He won via split.
He was fun. Oh, I have it in my head. God damn it, I can't think. Oh, God, I have the name. I can think of this.
He fought John Jones.
Dude, I have the name, but I can't get it out. I know who it is. Just say it.
Oh, Vince St. Preux. They fought.
Yes, I had it.
The second card.
You know what fucked me up, Josh? I kept thinking Von Flue, but I couldn't think OSP.
The Von Preux, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I knew it was OSP, though. I knew who it was, though, Josh.
Yeah, they fought in the co-main event of Anthony Smith over Teixeira. That was
I
the
remember
second
that.
card post-COVID. I thought Ovens won that fight. He knocked him down 2 times, but he ended up losing via split decision. And now
Yeah, 'cause he
Rothwell
got
has a chance
wrestled
to go
against the
2-0.
cage.
Yeah, now he has a chance to go 2-0 against former UFC light heavyweight title challengers. Interesting fight, man. Interesting fight. We'll see what happens. The Holm Vieira fight, I don't have a whole lot of thoughts on. I think the fact that Holly Holm is still, I don't think she gets enough credit for being how old she is
She's about
and
to be
getting.
40, isn't she?
She's 40, and I think she might be 41 by the time the fight happens.
Holy shit, respect to her, dude.
Yeah, and she's still putting in work, dude. This is gonna be May 21st, Las Vegas Fight Night. And she's won 2 in a row already. She's had 2 fights canceled. So we'll have to go ahead and see what happens there in terms of like what's probably what happened. She's had a couple of injury problems lately. But yeah, man, I guess winner gets a title shot maybe. I don't know. 135 is in a really weird place right now.
Oh no, you're not wrong.
By the way, what a weird thing. So she was supposed to fight Juliana Pena in a main event fight. That fight gets canceled because Holm has to pull out, right? She pulls out during fight week. Juliana, they're supposed to be a title challenger bout, so they just end up giving her a title shot against Nunes. And she ends up winning the belt. So what a weird, and I think she probably loses to Holm, by the way. So huge blessing for her to have a Holly Holm fall out of that fight. So yeah, I don't have a whole lot of thoughts on the Caitlin Vieira one. Do you?
Not a lot, man. I mean, like I said, I want to get into the analysis part of it. I think it could be a fun matchup depending what Caitlin Vieira we get.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fair enough. It could be a fun matchup. She is coming off the biggest win of her career against Miesha Tate, so yeah, we'll have to go ahead and see what happens. The last fight that we're going to go ahead and talk about is one that I am personally a huge fan of. So, Donald Cowboy Cerrone, this is more than likely, it has not been confirmed, but he said that after his last fight, he said he wants to do one more down at 155. 155 was his home for a long time. Obviously, he's been fighting at 170 lately. I don't know if it's because, he's, hasn't felt like cutting weight and so on and so forth. But he's going to be fighting down at 155 for the first time since 2019. And his opponent is the man that is just barely behind him in terms of fight of the night bonuses. Joe J. Lau Lozon, April 30th. Not going to be the main event, but they will be fighting on a fight night. Dude, this is a fight between 2 future Hall of Famers, 2 guys kind of both at their same age. Lozon's 37, Cerrone is 38. Dude, this is going to be a banger of a fight, in my opinion. I love this matchup. They very rarely do these fights. A lot of time they just feed the old to the young. Instead, they're giving these 2 guys a chance to go out and bang for one last time. What are your thoughts about this fight between these 2 future Hall of Famers?
Great. I mean, great fucking matchmaking, dude. Great fucking matchmaking. I mean, extremely well done here. I mean, they fucking killed it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course, man. I mean, in terms, and I understand some of you guys may be sitting at home because he hasn't fought in a while. Joe Lozon's not retired. No, he's not. It seems like there was discussions about it. I know he said that Dana White wanted him retired after he knocked out Jonathan Pierce in his hometown of Boston, which was an insane moment. He'd lost a couple in a row before that, but after a performance like that, I don't blame him for not wanting to hang it up. And now he has a chance to go out and fight an old veteran. If Joe Lozon beats Cerrone, I don't want to say it'd be the biggest win of his career, not the most monumental, but it'd be probably one of the biggest names like on his resume. And yeah, he is a future Hall of Famer. Let me go and say that one. I'm a huge Joe Lozon homer. I've told the reason why on the show before, and I also said why on Twitter. But yeah, I'm a huge Joe Lozon fan. And he will get in the Hall of Fame probably for his fights against Jim Miller. Both of them were bangers. So yeah, dude. I mean, I'm a huge fan of this fight. Very rarely do UFC actually kind of do these fights. You know what I mean? Like a lot of time they just feed. Yeah, I mean, shit, dude. We saw what happened with Cerrone a couple times there. Like we saw him, like old Cerrone get fed to like fucking Justin Gaethje, dude. Like he's been in that guy, like in that position where they're just trying to have him get knocked by some of these younger guys for a while now. So yeah, man, I love this matchup. Love this fight. Is there any other fight announcements or any other stuff you want to go and hit before we close out?
Jeremy Stephens was released by the UFC and then signed by the PFL.
Ooh, that's true. He's going to be fighting at 155. So that'll be, you know what that means, Angel? We're going to have a very real possibility where we're going to go ahead and see him fight Anthony Pettis again.
Holy shit, you're right.
Yeah, 2 former.
And Clay Collard, dude. Clay Collard versus Jeremy Stephens. That's a fun matchup.
That is. Jeremy Stephens is a weird guy because I don't know how good he is at this point in time. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how good or bad he is because his like last couple fights, all right, Jose Aldo, that was a title eliminator bout. Had he won, he would have gotten a title shot. He lost that one via just one of the most brutal liver shots I've ever seen. You guys should go rewatch that one if you've not. That was fucking brutal, dude. And before that, he knocked out Josh Emmett, knocked out Doo Ho Choi, R.I.P. Love that man. And then also he dominated Guillermo Melendez. He then lost to Aldo, lost to Sabit in a very fun fight. No contest against Yair, lose to Yair in a fight of the night. Knocked out by Cal McCater after winning the first round and gets submitted by Montañez Gamrot immediately. He's fought so many top-level guys in a couple of those fights. Like Zabit was close, Yair was close. Calvin Kattar was close until he got murked. Man, I like the signing a lot for the PFL, but a lot of people are kind of like devaluing Jeremy Stephens. I just have no idea how good he is, honestly, at this point in time. What are your thoughts on him signing?
I think it's fun, man. I think the PFL made a good decision going forward with him, and they've picked up some good names, man. I think the PFL are really trying to make a push to get their name out there, be bigger, and with them being on ESPN, I think that helps them a lot. And I think they got some potential, man. I think the PFL will surprise us here in the next few years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely possible. I think the PFL is in a good position where I don't want to say they might overtake Bellator, but it looks like the way that they're making signings, they're going to re-sign Kayla Harrison. They signed Jeremy Stephens. They picked up Pettis last year, Verdum. Picked up Julia Budd recently. They're in that position where they're trying to make a run for the 2 spot. I don't know if they'll get there, but props to them for trying, dude. I think it's going to be really interesting next season for them. Obviously, they're keeping a couple of their young guys too, like Ray Cooper, which I like that man a lot. So yeah, man, I like a lot of movies PFL's been making. I like this Jeremy Stephens signing. Like, he got released, and the next day he was with PFL. Like, they're hounding these dudes. So yeah, we'll go ahead and see what happens. I believe that's all for MMA news, right?
That's everything, man.
That's everything. Yeah. So we hope you guys enjoyed. Obviously, there is boxing going down this weekend, but I don't think we have a whole lot of thoughts to give on that one. I mean, do you have any opinions like Keith Thurman versus Mario Barros outside of the fact that
it's a banger?
It's a banger. I mean, honestly, I could see either one of those guys winning that, to be completely honest with you. I know Keith Thurman's a heavy favorite, but I could see either guy coming out on top.
Yeah, don't be surprised.
Yeah. I was excited. I actually was thinking about, like, maybe we should hang out for that one, and then I saw, guess how much that one is?
I hope it's not $60, is it?
Remember. Last time I tried this, it was $40 for Luis Ortiz versus Charles Martin, which was a month ago. Just throw a number out for this one.
Dude, I hope it's not 60. Is it 60?
It's $75, Angel.
Yeah, no one's buying that.
Nobody's buying it. If it was like 40, I could see people doing it. Keith Thurman, Mario Barros is coming off a huge fight. Dude, I thought like, oh shit, $20, uni split it? That'd be fun. No, not this one. Not this one, bro. This is just a rough price tag. I was excited for that one. I'll still be covering it, I'll still watch it, at my local Buffalo Wild Wings, but not going to go ahead and spend the money on it. Yeah, man, so not a whole lot to talk about there. In terms of like other news, at this point in the time, like over the last few years, Angel, this is going to be the first time that we're not going to be talking about the Super Bowl with the Chiefs in it on this show. Isn't that kind of weird?
I know. It is.
Yeah,
it's sad.
It's heartbreaking, but that shows how fucking good they've been. That like since this show has happened, I believe, unless I'm forgetting, I could be messing up with the timeline. I believe this is the first time we're not going to talk about them in the Super Bowl. So, yeah, man. Fuck Joe Burrow. No, I like Joe Burrow, but yeah, I'm hoping the Rams win. I hope OBJ gets his first ring. Although I do
shout out.
I hate the shit that he pulled in Cleveland, but that was really. I mean, having your dad upload a video calling out Baker Mayfield, like who the fuck? Anyways,
that's kind of savage. That's good.
Yeah. I mean, that is. I mean, it's. But dude, come on, like.
Yeah, just teasing you.
No, I know, but regardless, man. Yeah, that should be fun, but not gonna really talk about it. Very depressed about the Chiefs losing. I hate football, but hope you guys enjoyed this episode. As always, we try to stretch it out whenever we kind of have these weird weeks. There's not a whole lot to talk about. Next week's gonna be huge, though. UFC pay-per-view. Robert Whittaker, Israel Adesanya for the second time. We've wanted this one for a long time. Can't wait to see it. Angel, I'm gonna see you in person for that one. But I hope you guys enjoy this episode as always. At Josh Hermansson for me on Twitter, at AngelTaker_01 on Twitter for him, at Courtside Sound1. Actually just at Courtside Sound for all things relating to the show. Hope you guys liked it as always. Feel free to go and follow me and read all my stuff that I've been doing lately. Obviously, I just did get picked up by bjpen.com, but putting some good work in over there. So hope you guys enjoyed this episode as always. Peace and butt grease. Mouse click.